Route 13, this is the bridge that goes over Nashua River. This is Route 13, Speedways to my right, Baker Cadillac, Magic Fuel, and fire station's up on the right-hand side. And so the other day, the fire department noticed a small heave in the road, and further investigation find that leaky sewer line. And at the time, we didn't really understand the whole scope of what was going on, but there's a number of sewer lines that come through here. This is one of the low points of the city. All that flow from North Leominster comes down this way. So a number of different sewer lines in here, and so it had to be determined which one. The bridge, built in 1872, but redone in about 10 years ago. And so we had to meet certain specifications. This is an old historic bridge. They didn't want to ruin the integrity of the bridge, so it had to be renovated and upgraded and rebuilt, meeting all of the standards of the Mass Historic. And so that's why you see a lot of the same granite being used. Anyway, the sewer line broke below here, and Ray Racine talked a little bit about that in particular. But as soon as we knew this was going to involve heavy construction, we determined that we go down to one lane traffic, and then once we realized the full scope of this, we had to shut the bridge completely. We've sent out code red alerts. We've had this on Facebook and social media. The newspapers printed it. And if you can look around, it's really helped. I think most people have gotten the message. Route 2, there's a message board there telling people Route 13 is closed. Normally on a day like today, it's a very busy road, about 25,000 cars a day travel through here. So moving as quick as we can, but we've run into some other issues here. Ray Racine will explain that, DPW director. But the biggest thing is that we'll continue to communicate and explain to everybody exactly what's going on. The bridge will be closed for several more days, so we want to make sure we get that message out. And there are many different, it's not just about fixing a piece of pipe, there's a lot of other pieces that are involved with this. How many thousand tons you got coming in, Ray, of special material?
400 tons of Mass DOT number 3 rated gravel that they recommended that we use for the material that washed out. When we got here, Dave Smith was the first guy out here on site, and we found an old clay sewer pipe that's probably around 1900s that was compromised, broken, and leaking. So what we did was we started to excavate to find out what the problem was. Generally, if you see a road settling, what you do is you excavate and find out what the problem is. We could have just probably patched it and moved along, but what we determined was the pipe from 1900 now had, and as you can see over here, there's old trolley tracks encased in concrete that was situated on top of that clay pipe. It must have settled out, cracked the pipe, and over the course of time caused the road to cave in a little bit and some of the fine particles be washed away.
The bridge is built to move.
The bridge is built to move.
There's an indicator on the other side of the bridge that sort of monitors the movement of the bridge. But
So
the concrete encased in the rail probably wasn't designed to move, and that's probably what broke the pipe, correct?
Honestly, what we think why the rail is encased in concrete is because generally you want to see 4 to 5 feet of cover over a pipe so traffic doesn't damage it with all the pounding. So what they do is they put concrete over it to sort of protect it. And in this application, the pipe's only down 2 feet. Got a number of years out of it, but it's time to replace the old clay pipe with new ductile iron pipe, which is rated as water pipe, but pretty indestructible, 100-year lifespan, and traffic and the trailer trucks won't affect it.
So the rail will all have to be taken out section at a time, as you see, and then anything that, as the sewer line was leaking, it was washing away material, and this material that will be hauled in is special material. It has to be compacted. So this process has gone from just a couple of days to up to another week or possibly longer to get this job complete. Now that doesn't mean we can't get one section done and open it one way, but we won't know that until we get further along in the process. We'll try to work weekends, try to get, we have another bunch of other projects going on in town, so we've taken people off of those to come here. So we'll continue to work as many people as we can get to continue to work here. The fire department, you want to talk a little bit about sort of, this is a main road to get fire vehicles, ambulance through. Want to just talk about what you've done with the ambulance?
Yeah, what we're doing is we have a fire station that's located just up at the next intersection. And from 8 in the morning till 8 at night, we're going to station our second ambulance there. That's to cover the traffic conditions, cut down on the response times. So the fire station is open 24/7 with a fire engine, and then from 8 to 8 we'll have the ambulance. We still have 2 other main routes into the North Leominster area, down Mechanic Street, up Nashua, or North Main to Hamilton. So our first engine should be able to still continue to get to all the calls within that 4 to 6 minute time period, and then our backup trucks still have 2 main accesses from downtown to get to the North Leominster area.
So all the businesses are open here, but obviously they're being affected. You know, Speedway at this time of day is usually busy, Magic Fuel. We understand that. We're going to move as quick as we can. Lisa Maroney and then Melissa Tasker are the small business coordinators for the city. So they'll be working with the businesses to make sure they stay up to speed, emailing, sending out messages, letting them know what's happening. We'll do some promotion to help so people do understand that they can get in here to do business. Baker Cadillac is open. The businesses are all open. It's going to be, you know, it's a little more work to get to them typically, but you can come off River Street and access them. You can come off of Main Street and access River, Magic Fuel, and the car lot. So all the businesses that were affected are open, but people might be thinking that maybe they aren't. So we're trying to get the message out that they are in fact open. Hopefully Waze and these other apps allowing people to know that we hope, like Waze and these other apps, are letting people know that don't take this route, bring them to another route. I'll actually try it when I leave here to see if it does. I'll put an address in North Leominster, come off Route 2 and see if it'll bring me there. But hopefully that will happen. There's a message board on Route 2 to let people know. So we're doing everything possible, moving as quick as we possibly can to get this road open. It's probably one of the worst places for this line to happen, because anywhere else it would have been just an easy fix, but over the bridge and having a washout certainly affects things. Chief, did you want to say anything? Police chief?
No, I mean, we modified the traffic a little bit. We shut eastbound Hamilton Street and at South Street, and we're diverting the traffic, River Street, we're diverting the traffic onto River Street. The reason for doing that was to get them going northbound at the light, because the light coming off of Hamilton Street and National Street wasn't designed for that volume, and it was backing up all the way to Water Tower Plaza. This way they're going the natural flow of the light, and we didn't have to try and retime it. They tried to retime it yesterday and it just made it worse. So that was the solution. If things change, we'll come back up and we'll take a look at it, and if we have to try and change the traffic flow again, we will. But like the mayor said, there's essentially one way to get to North Leominster from anywhere south, and that's over this bridge. So we're doing the best we can. You can see, like the mayor said too, the volume dropped dramatically, even further up on 13. You're going to see, I think people coming in from Lunenburg and Townsend are just finding alternate routes, because the traffic up there is just dried right up.
Is the project going to cost?
What's the budget on it? Because we couldn't go over a certain amount because of bidding. So we're working with a private contractor.
80,000.
Okay. And what sort of funding would that come out of?
That'll come out of the DPW budget,
Okay.
Yep.
SOAR and DPW budget.
So obviously another project we had planned won't happen. So we have X amount of dollars for X amount of plans, and this is what we do on a daily basis. We plan our work, and an emergency like this comes up, and we just regroup, go to where we have to go, and don't panic and just fix it. I mean, this is the nature of our life. This is how we do it. Give you a little history on this bridge. This bridge is, as the mayor said, historic, and when they went to repair it, they tried a method that this was the first time it was done in the United States. It's been done in Europe, and what they did was they drilled diagonally through the granite, and they had a 96-foot span, and they connected stainless steel rods with bolts and tightened the thing back together to give it, and they tightened it to a torque where, like the mayor said earlier also, to have it flex and have it not pull apart. So that part of it seemed to work. Unfortunately, with the way this project was started and they ran into that concrete and they knew it was going to be a lot of work, that part of it didn't happen. This time we're going to make sure we do it right and finish the thing, so we don't have to do this again in the future.
The machine that you hear up there, the generator, they're bypassing. The first thing they had to do is isolate the problem. But so what we're basically doing is taking the sewage that would normally come through the line and bypassing it. So they're recreating this, bypassing it to another line so that they can fix it, because you still got to run sewer. I mean, it still has to. We still have to keep the system open. So that's part of the whole. So that's going to have to run and be monitored 24/7.
Is there any possibility of maybe dipping into the stabilization account for this so that DPW isn't, doesn't have another project that it can't do?
It's possible when free cash gets certified, we might have to do that. But that first thing we want to do is get this open, and then we'll determine that later on. But a good question. But our big emphasis now is get this thing open. And you can see everybody's cooperating. We put out code red. We let the press know. We put out emails anywhere we could communicate. We put it out, and clearly we haven't had one complaint in our office. Not one. It's amazing. Not one person has called, because I think we communicated and got the message out. And it's also summer, and there aren't, school's not in session, and that helps.
And at this point, you don't have any idea what DPW project might be pushed to the side, do you?
No idea yet. We're on 2 or 3 already, so we got to finish up on those.
If you drive downtown, you'll see we have sidewalks going in. Mechanic Street Phase 2 is what I call it. Project is in full speed ahead. We're doing sidewalks over there. We're doing sidewalks on Washington Street. So honestly, we'll stay busy enough where you probably won't even see us missing a beat. We have a lot of things planned. We have water main going in. We have our own guys do water main. Right now they're on View Street. We're doing Arlington Street, and we've already, parts of Washington. So we'll be busy. I don't think you'll see us miss a beat on what we have for projects.
When the settlers first came here, we separated from Lancaster. One of the first things they did is get a bridge over the river here. The river was important, but accessing the other side of into North Leominster was critical. The old fire station, which is back in the 1800s, 1865, actually housed the police station. I don't know if there was a court there, but it was basically like the village. I mean, this was a separate village of Leominster, but this is the first. So it's kind of interesting to see the trolley tracks, because what happened is when we had Whalen Park, they actually built the trolley system so they could get people from Leominster and Fitchburg, obviously, up through here. And then there's a section we call the old F&L road, where they would actually take you up this road from Main Street, before all these other roads were here, and bring you into Whalen Park. So they actually had to physically get you from the center of town, or the other side of town, here, and it was really the railroad. It was these trolley tracks that moved people. And today, here we are. We've got to recreate what they did back in those days, so we can get from here to over to that section of the bridge. All right, any other questions at all? Okay, thanks. And we'll let you know as we know, as things change, we'll certainly let everybody know.